Well, our next guest is one of the dozens of House Republicans who sent a letter urging the satellite provider to reconsider removing Newsmax from its lineup. Joining us now is Texas Congressman Michael Burgess. Congressman, welcome to the show. It's great to see you this evening. We appreciate your voice on this and signing that letter. What kind of impact do you think this will have on AT&T and DirecTV?
Well, I can tell you it's certainly having an impact on the calls we're getting here in the office. People back home are pretty upset by the loss of that voice on the news waves. And, you know, look, we're at a time where people need perhaps greater transparency, greater information, and to restrict people's access to information does not seem like a good business plan to me.
What can actually be done at the end of the day? They are a private company. So what is your advice?
Well, my advice for people who, such as myself, who are subscribers, is that you need to contact your provider and say it's not acceptable. Newsmax is one of those outlets that I depend upon to get a complete picture in the news, and I need it restored. And otherwise, we will find another provider. I mean, it's really just that simple.
Well, we appreciate your support on this, Congressman, and for your viewership as well as the hundreds of thousands of others who tune every night. I do want to switch to an important committee. You are once again on the Rules Committee, one of the most powerful committees in all of Congress, which it decides which bills make it to the floor. This is something that actually was negotiated on during the speakership battle that we saw going on. The dissenters were trying to say, hey, we want representation on that committee. And now we do have Texas Congressman Chip Roy, who's on there, also Thomas Massie, which many people know him as the no guy. He often says no to so many things and votes no on many bills. And I know that there's some chatter about concern about what actually will make it onto the floor now. Talk to us about the strategy of trying to suss out things in committee before they actually make it to the floor.
That's a very important point, because although the Rules Committee is the final stopping point for a bill before it comes to the floor, the real work gets done far upstream in the committees of jurisdiction, authorizing committees such as Energy and Commerce that I'm also on, authorizing committees like Ways and Means or Judiciary, or the Appropriations Committee. But the real work needs to happen in those committee rooms, those subcommittees. One of the things that bothered me greatly about the Democrats' behavior the past 2 years, where they did everything on these big reconciliation bills that would come through, and really the Rules Committee was that these mammoth trillion-dollar bills would have. Well, that's not the way to do it. You do things regular order. Energy and Commerce is going to have a number of legislative hearings next week. That's good. We should ask tough questions of the witnesses who come in. And then there'll be a markup in the subcommittees and the full committees where every member will get an opportunity to weigh in, perhaps add amendments. It will be built from the ground up. And that's the way it's supposed to happen. When it gets to the Rules Committee, then it's a question of getting things refined, deciding how big a bill it is that's going to come to the floor, whether other things will be combined with it, what the number of amendments will be. The Rules Committee this term, I think, will be a much more open process than what you have seen in previous years. And that's a good thing. But the Rules Committee ultimately is, it is a strictly procedural committee. It's not supposed to be a policy committee. The policy work is done in the authorizing and appropriations committees.
All right, it's good to hear. I know many people want to see more transparency when it comes to that. I do want to switch gears with you. You are from a border state. You're a doctor. You serve on the Commerce Committee, which yesterday you all held a roundtable on the fentanyl crisis plaguing our country. I was just talking to West Virginia's Attorney General Patrick Morrisey about this and the troubles they're having in his state. You tweeted that we must control the border to stop the flow of deadly fentanyl coming across our border. I mean, it is almost every day that we have Border Patrol showing us how much fentanyl they found that could kill the entire United States just in one load that they found. Talk to us about some of these solutions that you're hoping to implement.
First off, one of the things, and you'll hear people say, well, the fentanyl's coming into the ports of entry, so it's not a border security issue. It absolutely is. with Customs Border Protection, DHS personnel so overwhelmed with just the volume of the number of people that are coming across because the president and vice president said our border's open, you can come in any time. They are so tied up with that activity that they can't do the other part of their job, which is the interdiction of harmful products coming into this country. The other thing we learned at the roundtable, and I got to tell you, I've worked on this problem for a number of years. It is a different disease today than it was in 2015 when we were concerned with the opiate crisis and prescription drug overdoses. Fentanyl is a much more toxic compound. It is absolutely lethal. It has found its way as a contaminant or a cutting substance into other products that people might buy. And then here's the really scary part. It's being sold on the internet. It's being sold on Snapchat. I really didn't have an appreciation before that roundtable yesterday at how pervasive this activity was. If you stop and think about it, well, as a parent, I would do everything I can to protect my child or grandchild from drug pushers on the street. They're coming into their bedrooms on this device. And that is to control. And then just the heartbreaking stories that we heard yesterday of a parent going in their room, finding their child in a beanbag chair, unfortunately already passed away from an overdose of fentanyl. Yeah. It is such a deadly compound that one pill can kill. People do need to be mindful of the fact that these people who are selling illicit medicines, they don't care. They don't do the quality control.
It's about
they
the
don't
money
look for a good housekeeping seal of approval. They are simply there to make a quick buck. And if they kill you in the process, too bad for you.
I got to jump in here, Congressman. We got to keep talking about this, raising awareness. Appreciate what you all are doing. Thanks for being here this evening.
Thank you.